Hey there, welcome back to another classic Abbey deck profile, and this time it's Plant FTK. Now I have a long and sordid history with this deck, and it might last a little while, so just skip to the time code on the screen right now if you don't want to hear it. So our story begins in the distant year of 2020, in which a small YouTuber called MBT posted a deck profile for a series by the name of Turbo Tuesday. This deck revolved around setting up an infinite loop to abuse a card called Sideblock, but all you need to know here is that they posted this deck profile, which allowed you to set up an infinite loop by summoning Super Alloy Beast Raptinus alongside Gigaplant, allowing you to get infinite value by looping rank 6 monsters. Now in his video he used it to loop Sideblock to lock your opponent out of the game. But I figured it might be possible to win the game turn 1 with a more standard strategy. Introducing my first Plant FTK deck list. This performed a setup that was fundamentally the same, but instead of performing an infinite loop with Exodius the Forbidden Lord, we aim to make Chronomaly Atlantis 3 times, halving our opponent's life points to 1000, then making Insector Exabeetle, and using our last Gigaplant to revive a Lone Fire Blossom to summon Anti-Aircraft Flower from deck, then using Reproducus to make it also an insect, then tributing off both of those monsters to burn our opponent for game. Suffice to say, this deck is not very good. There are countless better FTKs that were legal in this format, but this one holds a special place in my heart. It was the first time I really dipped my toes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck building, and it made me fall in love with all the ridiculous janky combos you can engineer. But this FTK is sadly no longer with us. As you can see by this big red crossed circle, God Dragon LP has since been banned, and rightfully so. This kind of killed the deck and a lot of FTK decks, as LP let you summon Omni Dragon Brotar from deck, which lets you search pretty much any monster in the game. And without Brotar to search our Cyberstein, this combo seems difficult to reach. And believe me, dear viewer, I tried to summon Brotar. I considered Stardust Synchron to search a Riven Light to stack Converging Will's Dragon to special summon him from deck. Heck, I even considered making Primath Meg Alambertian to search 1-for-1. But eventually I caved, and crawled back to that oh-so-familiar card around which so many FTK decks are built. Isolde, Two Tales of the Noble Knights. Now this deck list is a pretty standard FTK list. We're on about 40 cards to make Isolde, and about 20 garnets. We are fearing God a little bit here, we're on 2 apiece of Lone Fire, Scorpio, and Cobra, but for the most part, we're living or dying by the grace of God. Now that we've arrived at the combo section, let me break it down for you step by step. Here we are with our 1 card starting hand, and obviously our top priority is making Isolde. The search doesn't matter, so we'll grab the card that we've already used. Then we mill 4 equip spells to summon. Whoa, Armageddonite from deck? That's such an innovative combo! Cursed Bamboo Sword is going to add Broken Bamboo Sword, Sword of Deep Seated is going to tuck itself back, and Armageddonite is going to send Plague Spreader. Plague Spreader is going to summon itself back by tucking back the Broken Bamboo Sword, then we'll make Halcyon summon Red Rose from deck. Then we'll make Perialis. This card might as well be a vanilla, we just need a level 7 plant synchro. Since Red Rose was used as a synchro material, we get to summon Rox Rose from deck, and since it was used to make a plant, we get to search Frozen Rose. Bet you didn't know Red Rose could do that. Then on Rox Rose's summon, we get to add Basil Rose Shoot, and we'll activate it to revive Red Rose. We'll then tribute our Red Rose to activate Frozen Rose, which lets us search a plant, we'll grab Lone Fire. Then we'll make a 3-material Sayusha and special the Lone Fire from hand. Then use its effect to summon off a Scorpio. Scorpio will discard the card we searched off Isolde to summon the Cobra, which will grab Instant Fusion. We'll make Crush Heap with Sayusha and Cobra, then Instant Fusion to summon to its zone. To summon from grave, Armageddon. Armageddonite's gonna pitch Cyberstein, then we'll make Tugaras to summon the Cyberstein we just pitched. Stein can summon Raptinus to Crush Heap's zone, and oh no! Crush Heap is a hard once per turn? Well, I guess I'll just make Verte. Psych! Verte is an important combo piece in this deck. It's a plant, so we can use it to make Jasmine. Tributing Stein to summon Gigaplant from deck. Gigaplant revives Lonefire, summons Gigaplant, revives Lonefire, summons Gigaplant. Then we'll use our 2 spent Gigaplants to make Atlantis, using our last Gigaplant to revive another Gigaplant, then making Beat Cop to put our 3rd back in grave, then reviving it, making a 2nd Atlantis, halving our opponent's life points again. We'll revive Gigaplant for a final time, then make Beatrice, sending the Blazing Mars, which can revive itself by banishing 3 monsters from grave, then send all other monsters we control to the grave to burn our opponent for exactly lethal. Now that we've seen it in action, should you play this deck? No, of course not, don't be ridiculous. FTKs like this exist more as an experiment, stretching the limits of what's possible in Yu-Gi-Oh! In reality, your opponent will probably just Ash's Old's effect and you'll be forced to pass. And that's not even considering that you don't get to go first 100% of the time. Besides that, the deck isn't super consistent. We're playing something like 22 Garnets, and while they aren't all hard Garnets, there are enough of them to seriously disincentivize playing a deck like this. If you really want to play a competitive FTK deck, play something more like this, which also uses the Zold to burn for game far more effectively, with about half as many Garnets, and can occasionally insulate itself against hand traps, and it also has a backup line in the form of Dragoon. Please don't play any FTK decks competitively though, they're just no fun to play against. This video was for my sake, for rebuilding the deck that started my love for Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck building, and I hope you had some fun watching it. That's all for now. Bye-bye!